Welcome, welcome. Hello. All right, we're just waiting for the reset. Let's see how long this reset is. Okay, about 10 seconds. Okay, great. And my earbuds just came out. Okay, bear with me for just a moment now that we've got it situated. My earbuds go out. Okay, so for this meditation, I will again be listening to Apsahai Koa. Please feel free to pull that up now if you'd like to have that playing as well, or any other music you'd like to listen to as we move through this. Jazz might be a good one, or any just basic music in the background. Sorry, my earbuds are being very weird. Okay, and you may hear the squeaking of my chair as I move about. Okay, so this is part two of the Dignity series. This one is Dignity in Relationship and the fortification of our boundaries. So, something that I know that I struggle with is the crumble phase after blowback or under blowback, pushback, that type of thing. So I wanted to address this directly on a way that we can still step in and maintain our feeling of dignity within relationships. And this is not just specific to any single specific type of relationship. Okay, this can apply to all relationships. I wanted to keep it nice and broad so you can apply it where you need it. So feel free to adapt this however you need to for whatever your circumstances are. So we're going to go ahead and tune in, and we are going to use the Kundalini Yoga tune in, the Adi Mantra Om Namo Gurudev Namo, repeated 3 times. As you can hear, I'm rubbing my palms together. Please feel free to join me or just bring your hands to heart center. And then everyone else that was joining me, bring your hands to heart center. We'll inhale, exhale. All right, and we'll tune in with the Adi Mantra, repeated 3 times. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale. Okay, just one more. My intuition's saying we're going to do one more. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. All right, inhale, hold the breath, pull the root lock. Exhale, we'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, hold the breath, pull the root lock. Exhale. Last time, inhale, hold the breath, pull the root lock. Beautiful, and exhale. Go ahead and shake out your wrists. Okay, and then for anyone that's curious, I have done previous videos on the locks themselves individually. That may have been with the original avatar I was using. I think it was the blonde one until I switched to a better avatar that, uh, depending on the day, has more functionality and will move with me a little bit easier. Okay, so let's get into it. The problem that I noticed, and again, I want you to see yourself in this. I want you to be able to relate to this. So if anything feels more appropriate for you, I want you to follow that train, okay? I'm noticing that we have a tendency to sacrifice our dignity to keep the peace, to avoid conflict, or to earn love. And that leads us to feel unsure of how to hold our center when challenged. And I'm talking about good faith challenges here, okay? I'm not talking about anything else. This is good faith that we're talking about. So in this practice, we're going to use a quote unquote shield as a daily practice before engaging in difficult conversations to help us remember our core, remember our dignity, and be able to stand in that when we're having challenging conversations, even when we are getting pushback. So, a possible mantra that you can use if you're not listening to Apsahai Hoa or any other type of mantra is, my worth is not on the table for negotiation. My dignity is non-negotiable. Full stop. That's where we're coming from. Okay, so that's the grounding. Okay. Now, for this, you can go ahead and close your eyes. You can soften your gaze. I'm getting, okay, so this can be done in a couple ways. You can be in easy pose, full partial lotus, on the floor, on your cushion, in a chair, or you can lay down for this if that feels more appropriate for your needs, okay? So with the foundation of my worth and my dignity are non-negotiable. They're not on the table for negotiation. They just are, right? I want you to see your boundary. Okay, so I want you to see, I want you to visualize your dignity, how you see it. Okay, this is not a wall. This is a membrane of our sovereignty. Okay, our sovereign self, right? Our authentic selves. This gives us permission to say, you may be there, I may be here. My worth remains intact between us, regardless of what's happening, right? Regardless of the outside. So, with that being the intention, what we've set, okay, the visualization here, I want you to bring up a past disagreement, not a fight. Okay, not a full-blown fight. This is not a full-blown you're in danger or anything like that. I mean, there's some pushback that you would have liked to have handled better. Okay, so this is not an epic scale. This is a smaller scale that we're looking at here. This is not to re-traumatize you. And again, if anything is too much, honor that. Listen to you and your intuition, your authentic voice above all. This is meant to be a guided inquiry. This is meant to be a guided practice. I am not your guru. I am not your final authority. You are. Okay, so listen to you above all. Okay, so I want you to bring up that memory of a disagreement, pushback, situation that you wish you could have handled better. I want you to step back into that as best you can to within your boundaries, right? Again, you're holding dignity here too, okay? So honor that. And you can even apply it to this, right? Stepping into your dignity and honoring where your boundaries are. Again, not as a wall, okay? This is a living, breathing membrane, right? It shifts, it grows, it adapts as it needs to, okay? Just like we are. And with that intention, I want you to step back into that conversation while still maintaining your sense of dignity, how you visualize it as that membrane, that shield, but again, not a solid, inert object. It's an organic, living, breathing state, right? I'm largely going to be silent for the rest of this. I want you to actually engage with this conversation from the safe place, being able to step into and hold your dignity. You're responding with respect to yourself, to that person, etc. Because I'm going to be having my own conversation on this side too. I've got plenty that I wish I had handled better. Keep your breathing nice and deep. And notice what happens as you maintain that center of dignity. Notice if the old patterns bring your heart back, your shoulders round, or if you crunch down. Notice if your old patterns bring up pain, there's a shortness of breath. Maybe you shorten your breath deliberately. And these are data points, right? These are just references. This is how we become aware of the habit. This is how we become cognizant of what we're doing in the moment to help us better remain in our center of dignity, so that when we're having these challenging conversations, however they show up, we've got an awareness of, okay, I have a tendency to pull my heart back. My shoulders therefore round in, my spine kind of pulls back, right? I shrink. These are things I need to be aware of so that I can really anchor into my center of dignity, regardless of how this conversation is going to go. Because again, our dignity is non negotiable, it just is. So, just as a reminder, bodily awareness helps us as well. Notice the sensations as well. Again, with your breath, is your body becoming hot? Is it becoming cold? These are signs that you're pulling back from your center of dignity, right? If these become overwhelming, remind yourself, my dignity is non-negotiable. That's not what's happening here. that's not even a part of this conversation. This is about something else. Inhale, bring that big, beautiful heart up. Not forced, but inhale it up. Breathe into your big, beautiful heart. Allow that expansive chest to open, and exhale, re-anchor to that knowledge that you are dignity. You are made up of dignity. This is non-negotiable. Maybe you just play certain sections of the conversation, right? Maybe it's not the entirety right now. Maybe it's just one portion. For me, there's only one portion that I can play at the moment because that's where I need to start. That's where the biggest part for me is. And maybe you need to start at a softer part and ease your way into the deeper. Either way, it's perfect. This is meant to be a cumulative practice. This is meant to be layered so that you come back to it and you add to it as you're ready, as you need, as you build more strength and knowledge and trust within your own dignity in these challenging conversations, right? And I wanted us to take time to build this space within, because this is not an outward thing. Dignity is not something that can be taken from us. It's not a commodity to be bought or sold. It simply is us. We are dignity. So it was important that I bring this about as an internal state. And then if you need something that's a little bit more anchoring, that you need to bring you a little bit further in, I have a couple more options for you to try out. Either before you're having a challenging conversation, or maybe even during. I've done both of these during. So you can use Gyan Mudra, so your index finger and your thumb tip touch. The rest of the fingers point up. This is a very grounding posture. It's opening, kind of anchors us as well, right? Another one is you can use EFT or tapping. So the one that I generally will go to, especially when driving, is if you put your fingers on your collarbone, bring your fingers down just enough to where the tips of the middle finger touch the bottom of your collarbone. Where the rest of your pads, the finger pads are touching, that's where you tap. It's a firm tap, but it's not aggressive. You just want a solid tap so you can hear how I'm tapping in my voice, how it's changing. I typically do both hands. It's perfectly reasonable to just do one. Like I say, I use this when I'm driving. That's only one side, and you can hear the difference. See, there's still a little bit of a bobble, a little bit of a distortion in my voice. That's just one versus two, where you can hear it much more strongly. So either way, and this helps to acknowledge what you're feeling and to allow your body to relax and release. So those are options that you can utilize as well if you need something that's a little bit more anchored, if you need a little bit more help releasing the past conversations as you internally build this sense of your own dignity, how it feels, how it looks to you. And then for the last little bit of this, as Now you can stay within that conversation or you can step back a little bit, whichever you feel is more appropriate for you. Again, eyes open or closed. I want you to just sit here for a moment and notice how the dignity showed up, how you initially connected to it, how it flowed throughout. Now, this is not an exercise in when did you lose connection or, self-flagellation about losing connection, or that's not what this is about. This is really about connecting to how this dignity feels within you, how it shows up, how it expresses itself. Okay. When it lightens, if it dissipates, that's perfect. Okay. These are reference points. These are important. They're not failures. You didn't do anything wrong. These are perfect because it's a way for you to connect to, okay, so as you notice that it was fading, did you also notice coldness coming in? That's perfect. Now you have a reference point when you're in these conversations. Okay, I'm starting to feel a little bit cold. Let me remind myself my dignity is non-negotiable. My worth here is non-negotiable. That's not what we're talking about. And then reconnect to how your dignity feels. It's a scent, it's a color, it's a vibration, it's warmth, it's maybe your dignity does show up like a cool breeze, right? That's the point of this exercise. Okay, so I want you to really just notice how it feels. And yes, when it dissipates, what else happens? This is going to give you a good reference point to stop yourself and go, wait, just 1 second. I need to reconnect to my dignity here. And then again, the absence is also a reference point. And if you've just got a spark to start, that again is perfect. That's beautiful. Connect to that spark. That spark will grow. We all start with a spark, right? So please, again, show yourself loving kindness. Thank yourself for showing up and for being present, right? For connecting to that spark. Show some gratitude for that spark, being like, I'm here, I'm over here. That's amazing. And that's wonderful. It may not be the size you want it to be yet. Okay, I hear that. Been there. Totally relate to that. It also does not diminish the beautiful spark that showed up as well to let you know what it feels like, where it is, how it resonates. So both can be true at the same time. Okay. And then we'll just take a couple more deep breaths here together. And again, while we do this, I want you to stay as connected to that spark, that feeling of dignity, that sense of dignity, that center of dignity while we continue through here with the deep breaths, including the tune out. And I want you to see how long you can stay connected to that center of dignity within you as you carry on about your day. So we'll go ahead and take a couple deep breaths here together. Okay, last breath. Inhale. Exhale. And then bring your hands to heart center. Rub your palms together if that feels appropriate. My intuition is telling me that's what's needed. Fair enough. Okay, hands to heart center. Inhale, exhale. We'll tune out with one long side now. Inhale to begin. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Like I say, just notice how it feels moving forward from this place of your core center of dignity, and just how you feel. Feel free to drop any comments, how you felt, one word about what worked, what didn't, any insights that you had, anything like that. As always, I'm grateful that you showed up. I hope you found this helpful, and I will see you next time.